Morning, Tia Taurus here with you guessed it, another episode from the Tia Talk podcast. So it was a wow, busy weekend. I'm actually pretty exhausted. For those that follow us on other platforms, I got involved in a pretty upsetting rescue situation here in Louisiana. I was forwarded some pretty horrific pictures of dogs that were on the brink of death, just starved to death, or almost to death. And, I couldn't run and go help these dogs. They were hours away. So I did what I could, and I networked it through social media. I'll tell you, how did we get by back in the days when we did not have social media? I mean, I know I did. I just don't know how. Through telephone calls, I guess. But within hours, after going through tons of emails and even more Facebook comments on the post, I had to narrow it down to one rescue group that I felt was going to be okay. And I think the most exhausting part of this whole process, and I don't necessarily blame them, but it's people who don't understand how it is here in the South. And you know what? I used to be one of those, so I'm not putting anybody down. I've been here, 12 years now? 13 years? But in trying to explain to those that live in areas that are not poverty stricken or who have strict animal abuse and neglect laws, who have tons of resources to the animal community, multiple animal shelters in the area, trying to explain that, guys, in this particular instance, there is no animal shelter. There's nothing. And if a canine officer of the very small sheriff's department hadn't come across these dogs on the back of someone's cardboard, these dogs would have probably been dead in a few days. And so people were getting very emotional, and I understand. There was a lot of, why can't they just do this? Why can't you just do this? And are they going to find the owners of these dogs? As nice as I could, I was trying to explain that we're focusing on the dogs right now. Looking for the owners is not even on my radar. It was getting these dogs to safety. And mind you, again, this is a canine officer. And he said, one of the little pit bulls in the hold down crate, because it's so aggressive, like you're not going to get her out, of a crate. So I'm trying to nicely explain to people. And, just that they didn't have the means, they didn't have the equipment. I mean, the fact this deputy, called around until he found help, to me was amazing, especially since the South has such a bad reputation for nobody wanting to help their animals. So going through the hundreds of Facebook comments and trying to diffuse, people's emotions, I was worried that they were going to start calling this particular sheriff's department, because it's been known to happen. I have had it happen. When I posted something, people get so emotionally invested that they undo all the work that I put into it, and they just don't know how to keep their emotions in check. So my Sunday, it became an all day thing, and I sat at my desk the entire time, dealing with my dogs, letting them out throughout the day, and finally decided on a group or a rescuer that is probably not your typical rescue person, but she had the right environment for what I was looking for these dogs, and she was actually a groomer. And she said she had a cute little grooming shop in a very small, like country town, not very, maybe under an hour away from where these dogs were. And she goes, you know what? I'll take some kennel panels and I'll set them up in the garage and they'll be by themselves and it'll be quiet. And I thought, that's what I want. I didn't even want these dogs coming to us because they would be amongst, you know, hundreds of other dogs barking. That's not what these dogs needed. I mean, I had the do-gooders. I had this one elderly lady that wanted to adopt one, and could I ship it to her right away because her two little senior dogs needed a friend. And I'm like, I appreciate your kindness. No, no, these dogs are sick. We don't know what their true temperament is like. And I was having to explain all of this over and over to anybody who emailed and Facebooked and, finally, well, I shouldn't say finally. At some point, I almost gave up. Like, I can't do this. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. But finally, it worked out in this little grooming shop. The little shop that could. I gave her advice on how to get the dog that was acting aggressive. I said, don't even try to take her out of the crate. Just pick up the crate, put her in your truck in the crate, and then get her home and the crate into a kennel and just open the crate door and just let her be. So it's been 24 hours since she went and got the dogs. And she just sent me pictures. Oh my God. This one particular dog that was snarling and snapping and growling and raging is now, coming up to her retreats, still cautious. So it was worth it. I'm exhausted. It's the day after, and I'm exhausted. And it was more of an emotional thing, obviously, than physical. And I think the whole point of me venting is that the average person doesn't realize how exhausting it is to be in the animal rescue world. And I know those of you that are listening are probably in the animal rescue world, and you're shaking your head up and down. But I can only hope that somebody who is not hears this and understands that being a caretaker, whether it's being a doctor or a nurse or a teacher, where your job is to care about something more than you care about yourself, it takes a toll on you. But when I see pictures like the ones I got tonight, or when did she send them to me? Last night. I'm so tired. It makes it all worth it. It does. I'll be better tomorrow. And with that, you know what I'm going to say, right? Oh boy. If ever there was an appropriate time to say these words, my mission is to rescue. But my true hope, my true hope is that one day I won't ever have to again.